All
You
right.
are off and running. Go ahead.
All right, let me call the meeting of Inland Wetlands Commission meeting of New Canaan to order. This is Monday, November 15th. Will the secretary take the roll, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Stepanek,
Here.
Ms. Jameson, present. Ms. Kirby,
Present.
Mr. Perkins,
Here.
Ms. Brunali, absent.
Absent.
Mr. Sillo, absent. Ms. Woike
Here, present.
and Ms. Ross.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, Priscilla, will you take let me just see this. Beth Bernelli's role tonight.
Yes.
And Penny, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
And will you take, and we have a vacancy, so will you move yourself up to a regular member?
Yes.
Okay. Application, oh, I'm sorry. See, approval agenda. Everybody has a copy of the agenda?
Yes.
Any
Yes.
questions, deletions, anything?
My only question was with respect to the site visit.
Okay, well, we're not there yet. Let's move on. We're just approving tonight's agenda, so, oh, I see. Okay, we'll get to that, okay?
Okay.
Approval of the minute, so can I have a raise of hands of those that approve the agenda? Can I have a
Yes.
second?
Second.
All right. Approval of the minutes of the site visit meeting of October 18th and November 3rd. Now, Penny, you weren't on those, were you? Or Peggy, you
I
weren't
was
on them.
not, so I have to abstain. Yep.
Okay,
And I will abstain too, because I wasn't at either of those site visits.
I have, anyone have any changes? If not, then I make a motion that both of them be approved.
I second.
All right, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Oh, I'm abstaining, sorry.
Application to be received and if complete, scheduled for regular meeting December 20th. We're not receiving any new applications for December 20th. Yes, Kathleen.
Dan, could you just go back and call a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of October 18th? We had two site visit minutes. We had a site visit minute on October 18th and site visit on November 3rd. We also had regular meeting minutes of October 18th.
I missed that.
I think you may have skipped that. Thank you.
Approval of the minutes of the October 18th meeting, or is it November? November?
No,
No,
it's October.
October, of the October meeting.
Again, Dan, I have to abstain. I missed that meeting.
I move approval.
I'll second it.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, applications to be received and if complete, scheduled, but we have no new applications, right, Kathleen?
Correct.
But we will do a site visit on the two applications that will be carried over to the December meeting. Now, we have down here the site visit for those two applications on Wednesday, December 1st. How many people can make December 1st? Raise your hand. George and I.
I
don't know yet.
You don't know yet? Angela, you can't. Peggy, you don't know, right?
I cannot.
You
I know I
cannot.
cannot.
Someone
Penny
suggested,
says yes.
Penny said yes. I'm sorry, Penny, I missed it. So we got 1, 2, 3. We need 4, right?
I don't know yet. I
You
don't know yet.
yet? Angela can't. Can we assume that Beth or Anthony would be able to make it? We can't assume that, can we?
No, you can't.
Kathleen, no. So we only have 3 for December 1st at this point. We also, it was brought up earlier tonight that maybe November 30th might work. I personally can't. What time did you say, Kathleen, on that one? 7:30 in the morning?
Yeah, we usually pick 7:30, but that's,
I can make 7:30 on November 30th, but I can't make any much later, no.
What day is
Anyone
November
else?
the 30th?
Tuesday.
A Tuesday?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I can make it.
I can do it.
that's 3. Priscilla,
November 30th
you don't know
is
Priscilla.
Right.
And Penny, can you do it?
Yes, I can do it.
So that's 4, right?
Mhm.
Penny, George, Peggy, and Penny.
And you.
And Dan, and Dan. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then I'll check with Beth and Anthony, but for now, we'll say November 30th, 7:30.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, open the regular meeting. Application number 212212, 34 Brayburn Drive and 50 Brayburn. This application will not be heard on tonight's meeting and will be carried over to the December meeting pending additional reports from applicant. Kathleen, is there anything else you want to say about Brayburn at this point?
I have nothing additional to report at this time, other than the applicant is working on the items that were brought up by the commission at the previous meeting. They have had the soil scientists revisit the property. I have not received any documentation as of yet. I've only had some email exchanges with one of the property owners, and she is in good communication with the consultant to try to facilitate this being moved forward at the December meeting, full presentation, and hopefully, answering all the commission's questions. I've given them another deadline to get in the information. I think I said honor before, I forget what I said, probably like December 1st or something like that. So I'll keep after them, and we'll hope that we get some documentation that will allow you guys to make a good decision on that one.
Do you feel that it's a 50-50 shot we'll do December for them or later? You don't have a feeling
Oh,
for
no,
that?
I think they'll be ready for December. I can't
December.
imagine they wouldn't be ready for December. They're still desiring to, apply for the pond dredging. So they do want to move forward. So
Okay.
it's just a matter of getting in the balance of the information and the questions being answered.
All
So
right,
we
good.
will go and visit that site again, because there'll be some additional flags put up by the soil scientists. So I think everyone wanted to go and see that one more time. So that will be on the November 30th site visit.
Okay. Application number 212213, 807 Smithbridge Road. This application will not be presented tonight, but will be at the December meeting. It is pending additional reports. Anything more you want to add to that, Kathleen?
Both Jean Nazaro and Kate Throckmorton are working on this particular application. Kate most recently has, I'm going to say, the lion's share of the work to do at this point, and she has been working with the owner at the property to pull together some additional information. I talked to her, I think it was Monday of this week, and she has had 2 subsequent meetings with the property owner, and everything's moving in the right direction to come in with a good plan, hopefully, to answer all the questions that kind of arose at the initial site visit that we had at the property, and address ultimately the dredging project that Jean is hoping to facilitate at that location. So she had anticipated actually having some additional documentation to me the week of Thanksgiving. So I'll be getting
Okay.
information to all of you pretty quickly. They seem to be on track. Jean had communicated me by email that the soil scientist was revisiting the property, the surveyor was revisiting the property. So I think we're getting the documentation together, and they'll be ready for a full presentation at the December meeting.
Good. Oh, that's good. All right, so we have one application for tonight. Application 21-22-16, 91 Garish Lane, agent Jean Nazaro. So, Jean, you might
Good
want
evening.
to. Good evening.
Okay. You all had the opportunity to visit the site. The situation is a few years back when the new home was constructed, we had done some stream work, fortifying the bank with some rocks. And there's a footbridge that I believe Penny was there today, and Mr. Dooley kind of confused the issue. Where the original footbridge is a wooden footbridge, that's to be replaced with a single stone slab. And that's actually been built. It's a very large, natural looking piece of stone. The original footbridge will be moved upstream to the north, approximately 170 feet, and just so they can cross the stream. The real purpose of this work would be, one was to replace the bridge with a stone slab, but to fortify the banks further north up the stream and widen it in some locations. There's a couple of choke points right now in that stream that when the water comes through, it just jumps the banks and causes significant erosion in the plantings and the mulch and all of that associated to the west side primarily of the stream itself. The mission is not to deepen the stream or to enlarge it to a great degree. It's more to reset some of the rocks along the shore that are kind of restricting the flow, if you will, choking it down, and just get a better flow for that. I'd really like to leave the bottom of the stream as much as possible intact, because some flat stone that were laid in there once before we did the work, just to help prevent scouring. So the mission is really to widen the stream and increase the flow capacity.
Jean, would you like to attempt to share your screen?
I would be glad to. Let's see how this goes. Share screen. Look at that. Okay, now it didn't go to my large screen. I've got everybody there. Oh, wait a minute, let me try this here. Bingo, come on.
I see part of it here. But
Yeah, we can see the top part.
Let's go to 100% perhaps.
no
Maybe
good.
the
No,
way.
I think you need to go the other way, Jim,
yeah.
Okay,
and reduce it.
there we go. For some reason, I don't have, my larger screen's not working, so.
I think that's
We're gonna
gone a
have to-
little too small. I think you can make it a little bigger than 25%.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. How's that,
That's it,
folks?
that's better.
That's good.
Okay,
That's good.
right now, okay, the existing residence, here's Garish Lane 91. Our access to the pond, or excuse me, not pond, I keep thinking pond brain freeze here, to the stream is on this side here, as well as there's a culvert right now that goes beneath the road. And that's wider than the actual stream bed up to where I'm taking my cursor now going up. This needs to be fortified and widened to the same width, approximately as the box culvert that goes underneath the road. Our secondary access will be on this side here, to the left-hand side, or to the west side. The purpose of having two accesses is primarily the stone is fairly large. And one, a spider forklift you've seen with, they do deliveries of materials with mason supplies or lumber, can come in this way, carry the rock in, and we can facilitate helping it across with a medium size, a little bit larger than mini excavator to handle this side of it. So we place the rock within the crossing the stream, resetting rock wherever we need to do to level that up, continue up the stream, widen any of the choke points that are present in here, and then carrying up to the property line, which has never been lined. Now, as far as the rock material that needs to be brought in, there, I would say 2 to 3 foot size rock. And that material will come off of the driveway to the north side of the driveway, transporting to the west. I would suggest that this job would be best tackled when there's some frost in the ground, because it's a fairly spongy area. Of course, we've had these downpours, they're just relentless, and I'd feel more comfortable having some frost in the ground. However, we will be putting construction mats down wherever we need to facilitate the minimal disturbance. Any vegetation that needs to be removed would just be flush cut and allow it to come back again. It's not to harvest it. Mrs. Dooley, or Diane Beck, she's since changed her name, has done extensive native plantings all along the western side of this. She's done a magnificent job. However, when that stream came up, it really washed everything, including, well, anything that was in its path, the water took out. And that's really the nature of the job. So I don't know, I'd be glad to answer any questions that I can be glad to chime in. So
So,
questions?
Angela?
thank you, Dan. So Jean, have
Yes.
conditions changed significantly since we approved the last application, such that the stream is now conveying more water at a more rapid pace? I'm just wondering why, whether this was something that was foreseen when we actually granted the original application.
No, it really wasn't foreseen at the time. It's hindsight on this, looking at these storm events that we have.
Yeah.
It used to be, we get these downpours. It's just insane. As far as the watershed above that, what has occurred with new construction and such, I really don't know the answer to that. If it's increased the flow, all I can say is that witnessing what has happened on this property, it's rather significant. And I think the only way to channelize this would be, to correct this, would be to remove the pinch points where it's too narrow, and then stabilize the banks beyond what we did the first time.
Right. Could you just point where you're going to be widening the channel? I'm sorry, you perhaps did that and I missed it.
Okay, no worries. There's some random points in here that there's some
Yeah.
rocks that just need to be widened, and it's not back to the widest point. Maybe it's 4 feet wide, I'm guessing right now. In some areas are probably 2.5 feet wide. Up in this area in here, I think that should be stabilized to try to prevent the water from jumping to, as it's heading south, jumping to this western direction. Right now, it just breaches all of this and just washes tremendously and pushes all the material downstream.
Got it. So what equipment will you be using to widen the channel?
Just a small excavator
Uh-huh.
and a skid steer of some sort, track machine to bring the material to the, it's really a small machine, minimal sized machine, in labor and handwork. It's certainly not a large piece of equipment. There's not enough area to bring, well, one, you don't need something that large, anything larger. And two, you'll just do more disturbance than necessary.
Yeah.
So I think you're just taking a prudent approach to it. Whatever's the minimalist approach as far as equipment and labor and rock. But you have to bring the rock in from the driveway, dump it off this edge, and then transport it to our work area. That's why I wanted to show it over in here to the north.
Thank you.
This area in here, I believe, can just be resetting the rock that's there. I don't really think you need to add a tremendous amount. You may have to bring a few rock in, but generally what's there just needs to be repurposed.
Peggy?
I have a question in line with that, Jean. When you're widening it, are you removing any material to widen it?
No,
And
no, I mean, and go ahead, I'm sorry.
when you do that, where is that going? You taking it off the property, or it's minimal, or?
I would say just if you pull the rock back, then you regrade up to the rock with it, whatever's behind it. If there's rock encroaching in the stream, dig back behind a little bit, pull that rock back, and then regrade the same material you just used.
So you're not
There's not-
actually removing material from
No.
the stream, you're just changing
That's
it.
correct. If anything, we're importing material, the imported material would be rock. And
Okay,
then we may have to do, depending upon the flow in the stream, I may have to intercept some of this water and just bypass the pumping of it, just so we're not setting sediment downstream.
that was my other question. When you're putting the rock at the further end of the stream, when you're building that up, what kind of disturbance is that going to do to the actual stream itself, to the flow? And also, is there any life in that stream? I don't know how deep it is on a given day, but is there any wildlife in there or any
Given
fish life,
depth, it's
actually,
probably
amphibian life?
maybe a foot of water. I mean, right now, there's probably 6 or 8 inches of water flowing through there. When you get a large downpour, you probably have 1.5 feet to 2 feet of water. It's hard to, I've never been there during the huge storm to say, oh, we've got, what our CFS flow would be through that. But generally speaking, I would capture some water, pump it around downstream, just intercept the clean, return it back to the stream again, just so you're not sending a bunch of turbidity and sediment downstream. That's just not the way to do the job. You can't
Jane,
send your problem. to someone
George
else's.
Perkins here.
Yes.
Just a quick question on, I've seen what water flow damage can do, and it can really destroy your property, because I've had personal experience in that. What is the overflow capacity at the culvert?
The
Has
overflow,
it ever gone over the road?
not to my knowledge, no, it has not.
Oh, you said it was much larger. Okay, that sounds good.
I mean, you can only increase the width of it to what would match up to what the outflow is. To go wider and then to choke it down to your exit point, your culvert beneath the road would be pointless. You're not going to be able, if anything, you just want to fix this bank, which really wants to jump from the north side to the northwest is what's really bad. The excuse me, the eastern shoreline is a bit higher already. Again, it's just a field adjustment with some rock. Just really making it work.
One more question, Jean. When
Sure.
you mentioned that you'd like it there to be a frost when you bring the stone up to the top part of the stream, would you recommend that for the bottom too when you're replacing that bridge with the slab?
I'm just talking primarily if this the access to do minimal disturbance as far as if it's real spongy now. We've had these rains, we're doing some ponds right now. The ground is just so saturated. I
Right.
just would rather do the activity where it's minimal disturbance. That's all
For both sections.
yeah, exactly. It's just being practical. It's senseless to do it when you know there's going to be more damage or more disturbance than necessary. There's no gain for anyone to do it that way when the ground is completely saturated.
Angela?
So Jean, on the plan, we see 3 areas where you will be bringing in the machinery. Will the machinery be going any further than indicated on this map, with that where the hatchings is?
Let me go to my larger plan versus my miniature one there. Could you repeat that, please? I'm sorry, I was just.
Yeah, so you've got 3 points where you're going to be bringing in equipment
Correct.
and materials. So will the equipment need to go any further than shown on this plan? At the bottom, you've got the machinery basically going up to where the bridge is currently. At the top, though, it looks like the machinery is going to stop short of the stream.
Right, well, that's a good point. Now, when you come in, let's say from the north, where it says temporary access for materials, if we come across that, then yes, we start our stonework and we have to come down south, heading down the stream south. So yes, it'll be paralleling the stream. Everything, the activity for the stabilization on the west side will be reached from the east side of the stream. And then perhaps some minimal work with machine work will be south of the pool. There's a lawn area in there now. And there's probably 3 or 4 places that need to be widened.
Right, so you're going to have to bring machinery in pretty much the full length of the stream.
That's correct,
this
for the most
property.
part. Yeah, on the east side though, because that's all lawn in there. It's replaced, that's easy to restore. On the west side, there's a lot of plantings that Mrs. Dooley has installed along there, and I don't have any reason to want to go in there, try to work between them and cause damage. So everything should happen from the eastern shore.
Right, so talk about the disturbance that will occur on the eastern side and how much and what you'll do about it afterwards.
Will be stabilized again. Once it's any disturbance that's there, we'll have to be working off of either basically landscape mats or some timber to work off of that. The disturbance will be probably, I don't know, 6-8 inch depressions in some of the soil for the machine, and regrade it and seed it on your way back out. Stabilize that. And if it needs to be done and it's not a germination time, well then some jute mat or something should be laid over that to minimize the erosion, or perhaps even installing some core logs along the, or straw wattles, if you will, along the bank to make sure nothing washes in. As a temporary measure until springtime. And again, the springtime activity would be primarily handwork. Machine grade everything, your disturbance on your way out, and then stabilize it when you have germination. I mean, you could put down some winter rye, but it's getting kind of late even for that. I would just put some mat over that, protect it, use some core logs so nothing washes into the stream, stake those into place, and then tune it up in the springtime.
How long do you anticipate this project to take, Jean? Is this like a day-long project, or is this a couple
No,
of
you
days?
probably have 3-4 days at the most. Again, depending upon soil conditions and being favorable, that's all.
Yeah,
I'd guess 3 to 4 days. It's not a large job. I mean, you're talking moving that bridge up, it's only 170 feet. I mean, you could do. Yes, go
This
ahead.
is Penny Ross. Can I say what I observed out there?
Sure, of course.
Okay, Jean, I think I understood you to say that I went out today with Doug Dooley. I actually went out last Friday with Diane Dooley to the site, and we didn't discuss, she made reference to the work on the banks, but we mostly discussed the two crossings, the existing bridge and the proposed bridge. The most hard to even, it was like Ripley's Believe It or Not, the fact that the arched wooden bridge, which weighs 800 pounds and is now up on the side of the road, having been hauled out of that stream by the town of New Canaan,
Correct.
in Hurricane Ida, actually lifted up and somehow went through the culvert and ended up on the south side of Garish Lane, and had to be hauled out by the town, and it's now lying on the Dooley's property.
That's correct.
It's just hard to imagine how this happened. But that's the one that's going to be located 170 feet down. And it's
actually,
really a lovely, yeah.
No, I was going to say, Diane sent me a text this afternoon saying that Doug misrepresented the bridge when you were there, that he said the bridge is going to go back in the wooden bridge go back in its original location. which is not
Yeah.
correct. That's where the stone bridge is gonna go. The wooden
Yeah.
footbridge will go upstream to the north.
Yes, yes, I knew that. She
Okay.
explained that perfectly. I would wonder, though, what is the weight of this granite slab that you're bringing in?
Oh my gosh, it probably weighs, I haven't put it on a scale, but that is at least 2 tons.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
It's significant. It's actually a very unique piece that was harvested out of a quarry in New York State. And the original piece was about, 2.5 feet thick. And the gentleman that's supplying it actually wedged and feathered that and split that in half. So there's 2 pieces, and it's a very unique piece. It's quite attractive, you have to say.
Where is it now?
It's on Route 7 Masonry and Ridgefield and Route 7.
Can I ask you, why is it that the where the bridge was is going to be replaced with the slab, and then the bridge is going up further north?
Because the Dooleys had requested replacing the original footbridge, saying something was more natural, more attractive.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, we've always had the luxury of having the footbridge. It'd be nice to repurpose that so we can get up to the other side of the garden area, the plantings, and just do their maintenance with that. It's you couldn't pass a machine over. It's too narrow even for a lawnmower or anything of that nature, which are not even mowing that. That area is, I mean, they've done a great job as far as native
And
plants and
also it makes a
restoration.
way, yeah, I mean, but as Diane and I discussed, it also makes a way to make a circular stroll around the
Correct.
the west side where all the plantings are. You can go across on the granite slab and then walk around and come back over the nice arched wooden
And-
bridge, which you're going to elevate so that it's not at
Correct.
such risk for being washed away.
Exactly. And that's, yeah, and Diane's done really nice, just wood chip paths in a circular motion. You're correct, to walk through the property. And to me, it's just, they've done a really good job environmentally to try to enhance their property and without sticking a bunch of non-native plants in there. She's pretty cool. What her interests
So
are.
What? I'm sorry, Penny.
No, that's all right. No, I'm just saying that we did discuss the planting she's made, the red and yellow twig dogwoods and the Joe Pye weed, and she took out all the invasives. I've discussed this with her before, but what she's put in are native plants versus the non-natives that she maybe she didn't do it herself, but she had them.
She actually does it herself. And
Well,
in fact,
that's
a lot of
right.
the fern that she had planted in there were washed away with Ida, or completely laid over. There was significant damage.
So how are you
looks
going to
good
make
now.
sure that the wooden bridge in its new location doesn't encounter the same kind of damage? How are you going to make sure that that's the case?
Take your elevation of your high water flow. We have the marks in there from Mother Nature and place it above that. I think that what's going to happen. It's a good question. Widening at first, increasing the flow will help. Take out the
Mhm.
restricted pinch points on that, and then raise that bridge. I'd say the base of that bridge is going to have to be, perhaps 18 inches above the water flow. You have to,
Yeah.
that's going to have to be raised up a bit and then ramped on either side of it.
And do you know, are you putting footings in for that bridge? And if so, what kind?
No, I would not be pouring footings. I just think you just do that with rock placement, large rock.
Okay.
I don't think there's any reason to get into an excavation, putting in concrete. I think that's way overkill.
No, I wasn't
So-
thinking concrete. Sometimes they use those footings that go right into the dampened soil and it's their metal. I
Right.
forget what they call them. Kathleen, do you remember what those are
Oh,
called?
yeah, it's off the top of my.
Yeah,
Um,
Diamond Pier, no, I think Gene's point, elevating, and he sounds like he's got some pretty large rock at his disposal, so
Good. Okay,
that would anchor everything.
okay.
Yeah, Gene, this is Dan. What is
Yes.
the brook like north of the property? Is it more narrow than this, or is it?
Yeah, I've never
It
been
looks,
up there, Dan. Someone else's lands. I really haven't investigated walking up other people's it's a large wetlands above it. And I think the whole area just gets flooded. I don't know the size of the watershed or what new construction may have contributed to that. If there's some impervious
does it
surface.
come, I mean, is the flow rapid from up there into the stream, into the brook? It must be.
It's
Storm
rapid
related.
when we have these
What?
huge events, it's rapid. As far as normal flow, it's a brook, it's just a trickle. You know, summertime is pretty much nothing. Today, Friday, we had significant rains over the weekend. Certainly becomes elevated. It
Yeah.
didn't jump it, but we get these 3-inch rains. My gosh, you just get too much water.
If
Well,
you
that's gonna
can,
happen. That's gonna happen more frequently, isn't it? It's gonna happen
It
based on what,
absolutely is. I
Yeah.
can tell you in 10 years I've been here on a river, it's what used to be a so-called 500-year flood going to be happening more frequently for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just Saturday was crazy, the amount of rain we had in just such a short window. And the sun came out, but you get 2.5 inches of rain or whatever it is in a quick downpour. And the only other option is to have no bridges and widen that stream the best you can. But I think the rock slab is not moving. Personally, that's not going to go anywhere. The wooden bridge, the footbridge has to be addressed to keep the flow, have some freeboard below that and have some flow and just be high enough to, without making it ridiculously elevated. But if we raise that side bank, let's say 2 feet, pick a number right now, then you
Yeah.
have to be at least that high with the
Wow.
base of that bridge. We have to anchor that into place.
Does it back up on Garish Lane there?
No, I've never witnessed it. In fact, to Penny's point, I actually watched that bridge through the culvert, which I cannot believe it didn't destroy it and splinter it. And the town actually cut a section out of the bridge so they could retrieve it with a chain in the machine and pull it out from the south side of Garish. I mean, it's a stout little bridge, stayed together.
Huh. How big of a pipe is under there?
That's, oh boy, that's about 3 foot. I'd have to measure it off the top of my head. I'd say about 3 feet wide, maybe a little bit wider.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
To give you a real answer, Dan, I don't have that measured up. Here's a scale right here. I can tell you right now. Hang on a second. 30-20 scale. You show the width of that head wall at about 8 feet. So I assume that is probably 4 feet wide then.
Oh, wow. And below, south of Garish Lane, where does that flow into? Do you know?
the channelized
Uh,
brook.
That's
What's that?
where we're. Kathleen, could
river?
you say that?
It's a channelized brook immediately to the south, and then eventually works its way down through Onoke Lane and water course through that area. North of here, just to answer someone's question regarding what's flowing into this property, there is a large parcel to the north of here with a large relatively flat wetlands, so that probably tends to flood. And then just north of this location, if you can picture the New Canaan Nature Center and all of the water that flowing through that property, that is what's coming down through this whole connected wetlands development that's working its way through. There has not been any improvements that would be contributing additional water to this location. is merely climate change and storms.
Any other questions? Anything else?
I just had one quick question for Jean. With supplies becoming a problem for construction companies, are you in good supply of what you need to do and potentially would look to do this job in this winter, do you think?
Yes, as far as the rock, I have plenty of that. I probably have 5,000 yards of rock right now in my yard, so that's not an issue. There's no other supplies that need to be purchased as far as, really right now, the biggest problem we have is PVC pipe. It's
Yeah,
impossible, and the
Yes.
price is ridiculous. I mean, what I used to pay last year, $3.40 a foot, right now for 8-inch pipe is $18.40 a foot.
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
It's real, and if you can get it.
right. Yeah, well, the town of Keene is having a similar problem as every contractor is, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure you had. the
No, that's a good
stone
question.
and-
No, we really don't need any supplies other than just rock. And then getting, uniform rock in appearance and color. So it doesn't look out of place.
Okay, thank
And
you.
repurposing a lot of the rock that's there. And if some of them need to be replaced because they're not large enough, that take some of the smaller ones out, utilize them behind it to stabilize it and put some larger rock in. It's really, I mean, try to make a bad situation better, improve it.
Gene, where the stone bridge is gonna be, there's a metal pipe with, look like wires through it going to the other side. What is that for? Do you know?
I don't really know. I would assume there's probably some electrical,
Yes, yes,
some conduit
yes.
perhaps, and that would have to
Yeah,
be
Diane. Yeah,
re-sleep
Diane
that.
indicated
Go
that
ahead,
to me
Penny.
because, yeah, it's there, just sort of hanging there over the stream.
Right.
And I believe she said it was for lighting on the other side. Is that right, Jean?
It could very well be, to
Definitely.
be honest with you, Penny. I mean, yes, I saw the conduit that was there. If it's servicing that, then yes, then they need to replace the conduit. In that situation, I would not try to strap it to the rock. There's
Yeah.
two ways of doing it. Either you move, well, I wouldn't even try moving the conduit to the wooden bridge. You can go beneath the stream with it and come back up. You
Mhm.
could protect
Whoa,
it.
well,
What's that?
that sounds like a really big undertaking to put it under the stream.
No, really, it's only a 3-inch pipe or 2-inch pipe. It's really not a lot to do that. We've done it before, as Kathleen's been witness to. And it's what I would normally do in a situation like that. If you ever went, that doesn't have to be deep, number one. If you had a foot of cover over that pipe, 18 inches maximum, that's all to code. And you could put a piece of pond liner over that to prevent it from scouring, let the water flow over that, and put the flat rock back on top of it again so it doesn't scour. And it sounds like a lot, but we're talking a 4-foot crossing. It's an hour's worth of work.
So
It's
is
not gonna-
that potential crossing part of this application? Did you specify that in the application? you submitted?
No, I have not. Just bringing it up now. I'm just thinking out loud that the only way you can do that is to take that conduit and anchor it to the bottom of the stone slab.
Right. So
Which you could do
Kathleen,
that and drill it and hang it.
yeah,
But I'd rather
Kathleen,
not drill
maybe
the
you can
rock.
help us here about the extent to which new elements can be introduced.
I think maybe going back to the owner, it seems like that's an existing condition that wasn't necessarily part of Jean's activity. I'm just summarizing based on what I'm hearing tonight. If it's something that needs to be repaired, I think there's a way to repair it without doing the digging and the excavation. It sounds like, I guess
Yeah.
more looping back to the homeowner and finding out what do they intend to do with, it's probably a low voltage type landscaping lighting perhaps, but now
We
would
can
be the
talk-
time to fix it. It seems like perhaps it was damaged during the storm and became scoured and now the wires are hanging out and it should probably be addressed. Yeah, I don't have any other thoughts really.
We could
No,
put
but
that below.
sorry, my question is really a one of process rather than, the mechanics, and what Jean has described sounds, perfectly reasonable to me. But whether or not we've been asked to provide, to approve that particular element of the project and whether we need to.
Well, you could certainly address it if you were so inclined in a special condition, once he is able to get some additional answers from the homeowner as to what they would like to do with it. And if you wanted to address it in a special condition, that he or the owner should provide how that would be resolved, in writing, so that we have it in the file. I'm happy to take a look at that, and it is relatively minor.
The other thing you could do, Kathleen, is you could span that beneath the stone slab. You could put that in a piece of metal or a heavy PVC conduit and just put it below the bridge so you don't see it. Biggest thing, I'm just trying to think of how to disguise it, because right now it was beneath that wooden footbridge. And I'd be honest with you, Penny, I didn't think of that. I'm glad that you mentioned the conduit. I forgot about that. But it's not being that it's an existing, I agree with Kathleen, let's repair it. And I just want to disguise it beneath the bridge.
There's no
So that would
safety
be-
issues involved in this, is there, Kathleen?
No, I mean, something like this, the low voltage wiring for landscaping is typically not necessarily any kind of permitted activity that I'm aware of. But I would suggest, if you did want to handle it in a special condition, that once Jean knows how the owner would like to accommodate that wire, that be reported back to the staff so that we have it in the record, and then I can take a look at it upon actual inspection when it's done.
Yeah, that sounds
great.
like a very reasonable suggestion. to
Yes,
me.
it does.
Thank you, Kathleen. Let me just kind of see what we have, what the elements are that we're dealing with. And that would involve an electrician anyway, if it's something that was significant, pull the wire back, refeed something through. And it's low voltage lighting. This is not, a 200 amp service or something like
Right.
that that's
No.
going across there.
Right.
It might
And,
even be phones, too. It might be a phone
Yeah.
line or something.
I mean, you know what?
No, I don't
I've
think
never,
so, no.
there's no outlets over there that someone's plugging into or any activity. I can tell you that. There's probably just some uplighting, some low voltage lighting in that area.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, you want to take care of it too, I would think.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, like there's a real bridge, you would actually secure it to the bottom of a bridge. This is I mean, the size of the conduit is there. If it was a 2-inch, you'd probably get by with a 3/4 inch line just to slide some low voltage wire through. It'd be very minimal. And the lower the profile, the better for disguising it.
All right, any other questions? It's my feeling, since I've been on this commission for a while, that this may solve some of the problems now, but I just think they're gonna have a water issue in the next few years. They're gonna continue to have problems with water in there. Gene, I know you're doing the best you can, but I just don't feel, I feel that this is not gonna solve their water issue over there.
There's no guarantees that it'll be 100% with these storm events. I agree with you,
Yeah.
Dan. But
Yeah,
it's certainly, it's going to improve the existing issues that they are serving now.
yes.
10 years down the road, I don't want to misrepresent anything and say, oh, it's 100%. I mean, if you were to design this and if you didn't have it in an open channel and the client said, well, I'd like to put this in a culvert and try to fill over that and join that together as one piece of land, and that would be a huge mistake.
Yes.
You've got
yes.
debris coming down, and the best you can do is to fortify the banks, raise them to a reasonable elevation to channelize this stream and,
Yeah.
and hope for the best, to try to redirect. Right now, it's a free-for-all to the northwest of that property.
Yeah.
It's your point's well taken. I understand what you're saying.
Okay. Any other questions? Kathleen, anything more you want to say? Penny,
No.
you got something?
I do have something. This is
Go
Penny.
ahead. Penny,
All right,
yes.
Dan, since I am good friends with the owners, should I then vote or just, I mean, I gave my observation of what I saw, but should I not vote on the actual passage of the approval of the permit?
Well, do you
Oh,
think it can be fair?
who said that?
I did, Peggy. I said, do you think you can be fair, Penny?
I think I would be prejudiced in their favor.
Fair enough. You're honest.
Yeah.
But they're not paying you to be prejudiced, are they? You're not getting anything out of it.
No.
Well,
That's right.
they're giving me their hospitality, if you want to call it that.
Okay.
You
well,
want to
sure, that's
recuse
fine.
yourself? You want to recuse yourself?
If you, well, I
Well,
mean, I hope that would give you.
I think that to be fair, if you brought it up, you think there might be an issue here, and if there is, if there's an issue, then do we have enough, Kathleen, for a vote? We have plenty for a vote, don't we?
Yes, I think Penny is being
Yes.
extra conservative in this area. She has no financial gain in making a decision regarding this location, but it is completely the commission members' decision. If they feel so inclined to recuse themselves on a matter, they can do so. And you do have enough to carry the decision, whichever it may go this evening.
Good, good. And then I will just stand aside. Thank you.
All right, thank you for bringing it up, Penny. Good.
Well, Penny, I must say you keep good company because they're certainly wonderful people. They're great.
That's
The Dooleys are
very
the nicest.
true.
Good thing Jean's
I mean,
not voting.
Yeah.
I'd be glad to
Diane went
vote.
through, yeah, may I say that Diane went through the very strenuous master gardening program, and she really knows that's at Bartlett, and you have to give time at Bartlett, not only go through their educational, it's like a master course. Well, it is called Master Gardener, but you have to give time to Bartlett as well. It's a real commitment. And she is really passionate about, making that property into a natural Connecticut landscape. So, but again, I've already shown how I feel about it. So that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
That's all right. Thank you, Penny.
And I just want to say, and she got her start as a very young mommy at the New Canaan Nature Center. So she started her landscaping lessons there.
Kudos to the Nature Center.
Yeah. So Angela, we got Priscilla, we got Penny's, we got George, we got Peggy, you got myself. So we got five people, right? Can I hear Kathleen? We don't need any special additions to.
You did discuss one special condition, and
We
I
did
believe
discuss it.
Gene will provide that information once he has it available regarding the electrical line and how that will be handled.
Yes.
And I think
Okay.
Kathleen also mentioned two special conditions in her report, which seem important to me. The first is that the wooden footbridge shall be raised sufficiently above the watercourse channel, so not to cause a dam or be washed out, as has been an issue in the past. That sounds very sensible to me. And then immediately upon completion of construction activities, all temporary access areas shall be removed and the area restored to a stabilized condition. So then we've got the third special condition relating to the electrical wires.
Do we want to add that the work should be completed when the ground is partially frozen, or that it's a frost, just so that there's less damage? Or is that something that you're not, I know you mentioned it, Jean, whether you considered that.
Yeah, I mean, I would just take it from a practical point of view. If there's a
Yeah.
window of opportunity, if it's too wet during the winter and the frost isn't, I mean, I don't mean like a tremendous amount of frost, but just something to firm the ground up. If not, it's a dry window of opportunity, just like we do ponds, what we have to do with the,
That's right.
when it makes sense. And
Yeah,
it's not
I
a
think-
large job. I just would rather just not personally tie it to those conditions, just when it's a reasonable approach. I mean, I have no
Okay,
reason to
Tracy.
go in there and try to make a big mess out of this thing. It's, I mean, they're,
I agree with you, Gene. Anyone else that disagree with Gene?
Nope.
No. So let's not make that a special condition. Can I hear can I have a raise of hands with the motion and the 3 special conditions?
I so move.
I'll move to approve it.
I'll move to approve it. Angela?
I'm sorry, who is actually moving the motion? Who is?
I made the motion that we accept the proposal based on the special conditions outlined.
We need a second.
I'll second it.
Priscilla?
Mhm.
All right. All right. Can we have all those in favor of the motion? Raise your hand.
Aye.
All right. All right.
Aye.
Anyone not in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you, Gene.
thank you very much, folks. I appreciate your time.
Good luck.
Thanks, Jane.
Thanks,
Thank
Jean.
you.
It's gonna be beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll see you on the 30th at 7:30.
Perfect. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you very much, folks. Good night.
And then just
Right.
stop sharing your screen if you will. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now everyone's back.
Agent report, administrative action staff report, permit number 212217-8. Anything you want to talk about there, Kathleen?
This is a project that has been in the works for a little bit with the homeowner most recently engaging an engineer to provide a wetland application that encompassed all of the issues that we were trying to vet for a demolition down to the first floor, a deck of an existing foundation and construction of a new modular home at this location with some expansion off the front portion of the building. It's been reviewed by the health department, the engineering department, and the wetland permit was issued earlier this week. So I do not know when they'll be starting, but we anticipate we'll be seeing some plans coming through the building permit application process, I imagine shortly.
Okay, thank you. Other review of informational flyer. Everyone has a copy of this, and Kathleen sent it around. I personally think Kathleen and Lola did a fantastic job on this, and it really looks nice.
Yes, it does.
Does anyone have any comments or additions or anything?
I just want to applaud Kathleen for all her hard work on this and creating something that is both useful and easy to read and enjoyable to read. And it's not an easy process because you have to talk to a lot of different people. I know that you work very closely with other people in the land use department at Town Hall. So I just think you did a very nice job, Kathleen.
Kudos.
I'll second to that.
I agree. I agree.
Thank you very much. And I do want
Two thumbs up.
to, thank you very much. I appreciate that. hopefully, will be a useful document that will reach potential new homeowners, existing homeowners, and they'll know who to call, and hopefully will provide them with some guidance on whatever activities they hope to accomplish here in New Canaan. I do want to thank a couple of our terrific, almost professional editors, Dan and Penny, did a fantastic job catching all those little things that make it even a more readable document. So I appreciate everyone's help on this. We will be sharing it with the Welcome Wagon folks. So we'll be going into the baskets for new property owners. I most likely will be putting it also on the town website. We'll get it out to the Board of Realtors. Any avenue we can get our information out there, the better. So just a little snippet, very tough to have a one-page document, trying to touch a little bit of everything to still keep it kind of interesting. So appreciate everyone's help on that.
Are we responsible for producing it too, and then sending copies to the respective groups? Is that how we're going to do that?
Well, everything other than the Welcome Wagon will be electronic. So the printing of the document, yeah, we'll do that for the Welcome Wagon folks, so
Okay.
that we know it prints properly and it's done in the format that we have laid out. Everything else will be an electronic version, most likely on websites.
Okay.
Well, I have something to say about the worth of this document. I mean, I'm someone who lives 6 feet from the Silvermine River, and sometimes in a Hurricane Ida situation, 0 feet from that river. And people who move next to a wetlands don't. I remember this one man up on Michigan Road who wasn't even aware that the trees he was taking down were in a wetlands. It's hard for people to know. Like, they buy a property and they think, oh, I want to get rid of that tree. I can understand that. So, it's just the more education we can give people, the better. And we certainly don't want to put them in peril of getting fines and that sort of thing. So the more we can tell them, the better. And, I thought that this is a very good inclusion in the Welcome Wagon thing. And by the way, I used Welcome Wagon when I moved here, and I got a lot of good stuff out of it. So
And we did as well.
Great.
Did you really? Yeah. I mean, so I'm very glad we have this input into that.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Penny. Really do. I like this. I really do. And I think the photo really makes it nice, and it's easy to read, as you said, Angela. It really
Yeah.
is. I think it's great. Yep. All right. Anything else? Any other business?
Just
All right,
want to
we'll
make one
Go ahead.
quick comment. And I've been kind of doing this as I've been going along. The other day, back when the leaves were out, Jane and I went to the nature park, and I want to tell you the work that they did and the new walkways are fantastic. I think, as most of you know, I walk with a cane, didn't have any problems. It was very, very well done. And sometimes I think that we overlook the things that we have done, and to revisit them after a year or so is always kind of encouraging to me, because I feel like, hey, I had something to do with this.
Really? Yeah. Are you talking about the bird sanctuary? Is that what you're talking about, George?
Well, the bird sanctuary we've been to as well. I think I'm not sure if they put in, I was talking about the nature center.
Oh, nature
Yeah, they
center.
did
Oh,
an
okay.
extensive rebuilding of the walkways, which were, I don't know if
I
any,
see. Okay.
if you remember going there, they were kind of dangerous at one point. They're beautiful now.
Oh. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. We got more to be thankful for. So.
So with that, I
anything
move we close the meeting.
else? Can I have a motion to to adjourn?
So moved.
I second.
Second. Angela seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Happy Thanksgiving,
Thank you.
everyone.
Happy,
Yeah.
yes, happy
Everybody have a
Thanksgiving,
wonderful
everyone.
holiday.
Sam,
Bye now.
Thank you.
let's hope,
Enjoy
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
your granddaughter.
let's hope we have a Christmas party this year.